with Get 5 Stars. A little bit of housekeeping, wondering if you could just let us know if you can hear me okay and see the presentation. I guess if you can't hear me, you probably wouldn't know that, but maybe you could just respond in the chat to let us, or in the questions to let us know that you can hear this okay. Great, thank you, Nikki. So I wanted to welcome you all to the first quarterly agency webinar. We'll be doing these 4 times a year as we move forward, where we will be focusing primarily on discussions around how to help agencies do better with the product and what we can do to help you more. I just want to make proudly make an announcement that we have had some change of titles here. Aaron Weike has become our CEO, and I'm really proud to say that it's been a great working with him up to this point, and now that he's my boss, it's going to be even greater. I can tell already. He's very, very motivated and focused on helping us improve the product every day. I have become a co-founder, and Don is now the chief bottle washer.
Thanks for that, Mike.
I'm not sure what your title is, Don, but I'm sure it's going to be a good one. So anyways, and with us today is Thomas and Chris. I think Josh is away. I'm not sure if Mike has joined us yet or not. And Jeff is our new design expert. So we've been improving the team every day, and I just wanted to congratulate Aaron on becoming our CEO.
Thanks, Mike.
So the agenda today is start out with a couple new features to explain them, show them. You might have seen them already, but we want to be sure that we address them from your point of view. Some thoughts on improving agency efficiency, some tools we've released, and some things we'll be releasing very shortly to help you do better. And then Chris will be presenting on some ideas, some things he has to help you sell better as well. So let me just jump right in. One of the things that we're really proud of is our new review widget. I know a lot of you have seen it, but if you haven't, it's a dramatic improvement, both in terms of layout and design. The big change is it allows you to display not just first-party reviews, but third-party reviews as well. So you can display reviews from Google and Facebook, Foursquare, wherever. It gives you a choice of which third-party reviews that you're in your system that you want to display. It allows you to easily control which ratings to show, and it gives you more aesthetic control over the width of it, as well as the color of the feedback button. More changes are going to be coming in terms of this display, but this is a big change that should make it really useful to be sure that it's on every one of your customers' sites. The tool is under the review widget setting, and it's a very, very easy to use, and I'll show you in real time what it looks like. Very easy to use to control all the aspects of both what it shows, what scored reviews it shows, and as well as affect the design of the feedback button and the width, etc. So a couple of things that we want to just be sure you're aware of is that, when we're displaying third-party reviews, we want to be sure that we comply with Google's guidelines. So the first-party reviews, what we used to call testimonials, those will be marked up with review schema. And if the Google gods are smiling upon you, they can show in the Google search. It's going to be unique content for your site. When you do first and third party, it'll display all of your reviews together, mixed in. But in that context, we only mark up the first party reviews. And when you have only third party reviews showing, it doesn't include any schema. So the review total will be just for the third party. When both are showing, the third party aren't part of the total, so that the aggregate and schema can be accurate. So let me just drop out of the PowerPoint and move into a quick demo to show you how this works. So we totally revised the review widget page into 3 sections: the general review widget, the widget badge, and the tag review widget. super simple to set this up. Essentially, you tell it first and third only. And then if you tell it either third or first and third, it allows you to easily select review sites that you're monitoring. You get to pick what ones you're going to display. Just a note on displaying both first and third party reviews. While you may filter them manually in your dashboard, there is some federal requirements that you want to show representative samples. So you want to be considerate of what you show, that it's a accurate representation of your business. But very simple to pick a different number to auto display, as well as a different number for which Google or Facebook reviews to display. Number on the page, the link of the page, the anchor text, so that you can get some branded links from around your site, and very easy to set it up so that it can fit in with the style of your page, allowing you to go to pixels or percentage, centered, left or right, whether or not you display the feedback button. We auto select the feedback button color based on your logo, but you can change it manually if you so choose. So it's super easy to set it up. Once you've done the basic settings, you can then just grab the embed code. Just to give you an example, I'll show you how this looks. So here's a testimonial page where this is embedded. Notice it doesn't have first and third party at this point because I just reloaded this, just changed it just now. But as soon as I reload it, it will show all of them. And so, and then you can do a quick search. So a good way to use this is, particularly if you are long haul going to go with just first party reviews, you could start with all, so that there's good content on the site, and then later switch. Or if you're currently using first party and want to switch, it's easy enough to do that. Another, real value add that you can provide to your client is these tagged review widgets. These allow us to segment reviews and embed code on different parts of the site. So in Barbara's case, she has them embedded on her engagement ring page so that these reviews are much closer to the selling page. So if you take a look on this page, you'll find reviews that she has tagged that have the word engagement ring in them. Tagging, setting this up is very easy. I mean, you obviously, add a widget, create a widget name, create a tag, and then get the embed code. And then at that point, you need to either have, when you import your customers or after the fact, you have to then tag them. Hang on one second, let me find one that isn't tagged. So for example, Mike McSparron here bought an engagement ring. Let's tag him simply by adding it in his dashboard. Like I said, you could also add it at the point of upload or via API. So now the next time that somebody comes to this page, Mr. McSparron's, Mike M's review is going to be there, giving her both more content for that page as well as a link over to her reviews page and putting testimonials right next to the selling page. It's a very powerful tool that, and in her case, we could create different tags for each service as well as different tags for each product. We haven't yet, but be really super simple to do. I see that Greg had a question. Any way to auto tag based on words, content, review? Not yet. Certainly it's something we're exploring. We don't have it on a roadmap yet, but we're talking about various uses for machine learning and language analysis. It's a great idea, but the user has to be tagged either at the point you import them in the spreadsheet or when you bring them in from Zapier or an API or manually after the fact at this point. Any other questions about tagging? Let's see here.
Mike, Todd asked a question. He said, I noticed You can't filter by first-party reviews when displaying first and third-party.
Can't filter by first-party reviews. Oh, that's interesting.
So one of the things to think about there, Todd, is as a marketer and a reseller of our product, you understand what a first party review is, but for the general consumer out there, that's not anything of a, unknown to them. So the filter is really to help them dig into if there's a specific site that they trust more. So when you have the third party sites mixed in, to be able to go look at Google or Facebook. When we originally looked at this, we just looked at, introducing something, the term of first party review would be something that was confusing for the user. And that's why we have a view all where everything's there, or you can specify by a site of the third party sites like, Facebook, Google, TripAdvisor that are also in there.
Did I answer your questions, Todd? Okay, so let me go on. So anyways, if you have any questions about that, let us know. Ooh. Let me just go back into the slideshow real quick.
And Chris said this is freaking awesome, so just wanted to put that out there too.
Oh, nice. So another really, I think, an amazing tool for clients is Zapier Integration. Chris, do you want to pick up?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Mike. For those of you, I do recognize a lot of the names in the attendees. For those of you that aren't familiar with me, I am the agency account executive here, so I do work with a lot of our resellers. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you ever like to. It's just chris@get5stars.com. One of the harder things that can go on with Get 5 Stars is getting your clients to send you customer data. If you don't have customer data, then obviously we're not going to be getting that valuable feedback. So one of the ways that we've done, made a lot of efforts in making sure that it's easy for you guys to get customer data in there is by building out these Zapier integrations. So far we built out 9. By the way, I would like to add, if you have a Zapier integration that you're using with Get 5 Stars that isn't one of these 9, we'd love to hear about it. Love to know how you're using it. But the 2 that I find that are most common and the easiest for your customer to use as well is both our Google Sheets as well as our Mailchimp integration. Now, with Google Sheets, it's simply as easy as creating a Google Sheet and sharing it with your client. You'll connect it to Get 5 Stars using Zapier. And then anytime your client accesses that sheet and adds customer data to that Google Sheet, it will automatically pull it into Get 5 Stars and will automatically send that person a feedback request. One of the ways that we always suggest to clients to increase their feedback rate is by both letting the customer know that they're going to be sent a feedback request and getting it to them very quickly. So if they're able to work in the use of this Google Sheets into their service process, then they can both let the customer know that they're going to be getting this, collect their email address or mobile phone number and add it into that Google Sheet, and then rest assured that they're going to get that feedback request in a very quick order. In fact, Zapier will pull that information every 5 minutes. So that's typically a very easy way for a customer who's not necessarily technologically advanced to be able to get that information into Get 5 Stars with little to no work on your guys' end to make sure that they get in there. The other one is with Mailchimp. So if you are doing email marketing with your clients and you do keep a customer list with contact information in Mailchimp, you can set up a Zap there where anytime you add somebody to that mailing list, they automatically flow into Get 5 Stars and can be sent a feedback request as well automatically. You can also pull out of Mailchimp and get people from Get 5 Stars into Mailchimp, and then you can design certain email campaigns. If you want to do email campaigns to people who weren't happy with their service, as well as email campaigns to those who were happy with their service, you're able to do that and have those names pulled out of Get 5 Stars and into Mailchimp. The other 2 are if your clients are using FreshBooks and QuickBooks, we also have an integration set up there as well that will allow them anytime they create an invoice, that individual will be added to Get 5 Stars and sent a feedback request as well. So, if any of you have any questions on that, again, it is Chris at Get 5 Stars, but definitely these Zapier integrations are a great, easy way for you to get that feedback out with as little work as possible on your guys' side.
The nice thing about, thanks, Chris. The nice thing about Mailchimp is it's free for up to 2,000 email lists. So it's a great value add for you to bring into a small client. Get 5 Stars plus Mailchimp, you can deliver both reputation management, mail list management, and then periodically help them do a mailing list. Mailchimp also automatically integrates with Tidings, so which is David Mims' new simple email newsletter creation product. So the three products work incredibly well together to create a very solid platform for a lot of small businesses and that you can deliver at high value add and a fairly low monthly price. Oops. Next section here, we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the efficiencies that you might gain with our product, both currently and as we move forward. We just released on our back end a new tool that allows us to automatically analyze any given agency account or any account to see what Google URLs they're using and Facebook URLs, and to auto select correct ones. So the problem with Google URLs is, for those who have been with us a long time, Google has changed over the years what's the best one. First it was Maps, then it was Google+, then it was this Google search URL. And the problem is, going forward, we're going to want to replace those. So if you've been with us a while and have a number of locations in your account, just email myself or Chris, and we'll be glad to take a look at your account and replace these older URLs with the new place ID URL. Also, if you're bringing in multi-locations, you can upload the locations using our bulk tool and then just reach out to support or your rep, and we can help you auto detect all of the Google and Facebook reviews for the account. So it's efficient both in terms of the existing accounts, but also if you're bringing in new accounts with a large number of locations and you don't want to go through touching each one, we can help you auto detect those at bulk. Now, sometimes our auto detection tool doesn't work. This is usually when you have a service area business or any business that isn't in the place ID. Perhaps it's a new, or the Google Place API. Perhaps it's a new business or a business that Google has managed to hose one way or another. And our tool won't find that URL. So simultaneously, we released a public Chrome extension that allows you to find these really easily. Works for any business, but it's really particularly nice for service area businesses where the Place API doesn't surface the URL, but it also provides you the Maps link and the CID and the Place ID. And if you're doing any amount of location management within Google, these are valuable data points to archive, so that if down the road Google hoses that listing, you can go back to them. If they merge it or something else, you can have some record that we can use to help Google get it scored away. Super easy to use. Once you've installed it, simply do a brand search, get up the knowledge panel in search or in Google Maps or in the local finder, select our extension, and we will automatically generate both a Google Maps review with a CID and a Google Write a Review URL with a Place ID. So it's a super simple tool that's available at the Chrome extension store. Just go to the Chrome extension store, type in Get 5 Stars, you can find that. A small thing that we just added last week that a number of you have asked for is the ability for you to manually unsubscribe on behalf of your customers. Previously, it was always part and parcel of the email. People had to unsubscribe on their own, and if they didn't, it was just, we had no easy way to do it. So we've surfaced unsubscribe in everybody's customer dashboard so that you or your customers can easily do that if they're requested. I guess it was in January that we released our Google Q&A monitoring tool. It's first to market, and I think there's tremendous agency opportunities with the tool. Every business should be make an effort of understanding what their Google brand search looks like and what their knowledge panel looks like, and work towards improving it. So many conversions are coming right from Google. When we were building it, I did a fair bit of research on various attributes, aspects of it, and we just at Get 5 Stars released an ebook. The link is in the chat, as is the link to the Chrome extension. So this book is branded for Get 5 Stars. It's not so much for your distribution, but to help you get a sense of what the issues are with Google Q&A, why your businesses should be concerned about it, and to help you understand a model that you can perhaps start billing your clients for. The model that I posited came out of working with several clients. It's a 5-step model: plan, post, monitor, respond, and report, where you plan out questions that you want to get posted ahead of time to facilitate the customer journey. You help your clients post them. You use monitoring. Google is now, if it's a very small client, Google is now sending emails. You might be able to monitor it that way. Obviously, we allow you to monitor at scale. And then respond so that or help the business respond so that there's an authoritative answer. And most importantly is reporting the bad ones. When we built this is the first of a whole series of reports we're going to be rolling out, and sort of ideas we're going to be taking forward into the agency world, which is that of top-down reporting. So when you go in as an agency, you'll be able to see the Q&A for every one of the locations that you're managing. And they'll be arranged in date order, newest ones first. So if you go in once a week, you can pretty much deal with Q&A for your whole client base very quickly and easily. And they're very action driven. We allow you to, when you click on the view, you get right out to the specific questions that you can either answer it or report it. What we're seeing is Google has started to take down some bogus Q&A questions and answers using their machine learning and artificial intelligence. But my recent research indicated they're only taking down about 7% of the questions, and somewhere between 10 to 25% of the questions should be reported. So we think it's incumbent that you engage in actively reporting the bad ones so that they don't sort of pollute the space. So while a small business, and it might scale well to do planning and posting for small businesses, it doesn't scale that well for large multi-location businesses, but you might consider, even for them, critical that they monitor and report so that there aren't the bad ones, but that they engage by responding with them so that there are authoritative answers. We think it would be a great help to the brand integrity and the brand sort of image to be out there actively engaging on the responding side. So we see the tool as both very powerful. It's part of our pro package, way for you to value add Get 5 Stars by offering this as a service. And it works across all agency sizes, across all client sizes, to make that more efficient. And like I said, this top-down reporting and the immediate actions are a goal that we're striving for in our new, as we go forward here. So I wanted to, are there any questions out there before I go on?
I think Steve had a question, Mike, on how long does it take for the system to alert you to a new question or a new answer?
Right, so right now we're scraping once a day, so it's the next morning. So whatever time it showed up yesterday, we'll show it to you the next morning. If demand is there, we can explore more rapid reporting, but right now it's somewhere between 12 and 23 hours, or 2 and 23 hours, I guess. They should show up in your dashboard every morning. So we have some big changes coming in terms of continued improvements to the user interface, user experience, and the reporting structure. We have a new menu structure that is in first level beta right now. It'll be going into beta next week. If any of you want to be participants in that project, let us know. We'd be glad to give you early access to it. We have a new brand report and a new agency dashboard coming. Let me just drop out real quick and show these to you. So our new dashboard is essentially going to be moving from the top drop down to the left side, so they're always visible from the left side. And then you always can see where you are in the report, and you can easily get back to wherever you were without the need for breadcrumbs or cookies. You can also quickly get into any of these locations. And when you do, say for example, you come into Santa Cruz Express, the dashboard will then bring up the additional reports that are available on a location level, as well as their settings. Anything that's sort of global settings will always be visible to the person at the top in terms of their, and it will reflect their particular user privileges. So it's a change to a much more modern way of navigating, and it's going to provide the basis for a number of significant changes we have coming over the near term. Now, one of the things you may have noticed is that a lot of our reports already have this new style in them, and there's still a few pages of the old style that we'll be getting to quickly after we get the menu structure done. But the business dashboard page and the customer dashboard page are two that are slated for updating to this new look and feel and more efficient sort of flow. A big change that we're going to have for agencies that we hope will make your jobs a lot easier is a true client level dashboard and a true client level sort of view of the locations in your system. So going forward, when you add a new business, you'll be adding a client, and that client might have one location or 4 locations. Aaron's Auto hasn't expanded very much recently. They only have 1, but Caribou Coffee has 4. So, and then you'll be able to click into their multi-location view here, or click into their customer view from this level. We're going to make it super easy to add clients to this view. And also we're going to have a tool that's going to allow you to easily go back and assign clients or locations to a client name, so you can easily get caught up with this new structure. Sort of part and parcel of the menu change and this new top-down reporting, in addition to the client level change, we're going to be rolling out a new report called a brand level report. This report works at an agency level, and as well as a client level, multi-location client level within the client level view, and basically provides you summaries of all of the critical metrics of our system, but then allows you to easily come into a date ordered most recent feedback. Let's say it's from Get 5 Stars, you'll be able to publish it or unpublish it, respond to it publicly or privately. If it's from Google, you'll be able to respond to it publicly directly from this dashboard as well. So it'll be, again, focused on sort of this idea of top down, sort of showing you everything that's in your account, so that if you are actually actively managing reviews on behalf of your clients, you'll be able to go in and see them in date order and take action on them right from there. But it'll also work at this new client level, where if they've got 3 or 4 locations, it'll consolidate the information across those locations. Aaron, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you've outlined it pretty well. I mean, fundamentally, we were looking at, we incorporated feedback and considering how many agencies already use their workflow, where you're more thinking about specifically your clients and working on that specific client. So we wanted to make it easy for those clients to be grouped together and see all of them in a more isolated manner. So that's a lot behind the client level. And then this is kind of a springboard into a number of other things that we want to do. This client level is more of a structured piece that allows you to create a client, and then whether they have 1 location or 100 locations, they're all available under that client. but it allows us, just as Mike showed with the report, to start adding some features that you can see at that client level. So if it is a multi-location client of 2, 3, 500 locations, you're able to see a roll-up of that data, which a lot of our agency customers have been asking for. So it's one of those where there's definitely some efficiencies we're introducing with this. The stoplight feature there with, green, yellow, and red will give you a really easy, just visual on, are there customers coming in and out of that specific client's account. So those are all great, but I really think some of the biggest benefits to moving to this structure are going to come down the road as we have more reporting features. We're going to get to setting features where you can just make one setting for that client. So all 50 locations would update with just one setting if they changed a logo or an accent color or how their request mode reads. So a number of things coming with it. So definitely excited about this collection of all these things that are in progress right now.
So a couple questions. Chris Ratchford asked the ability to permanently change the number of businesses per page. We are, when we redo these reports, looking at that so that you, whatever your last chosen entry was, is what it defaults to. We may have to do some engineering work. It's not sort of a done deal because of performance issues, but we are looking at trying to build that into every report so that if you want to look at 25 or 50 in your default, you easily can. Steve, let's see, Howard, my brother, by the way, asked the question whether the same Google Q&A is available in the customer dashboard. It is. It essentially, being a top-down report, it will be viewed at whatever level the client has access. So if you have an agency, have access to all of them, you'll see all of them. As you drill in and you look at the report from a single location, it will be filtered by that location. But if your client logs in and has 3 locations in their dashboard, they'll see them for all 3. And if they drill into one and then look at it from that point of view, they'll just see that one is filtered. So the answer is yes, it is the same report. It'll just filter intelligently. Steve asked if we can have the questions and answers displayed on the widget. The answer is currently no. There's no technical reason we couldn't do that in the future. Not sure. It's good, interesting thought. We'll take it under advisement. And then Sam, if I don't have any clients with asks whether if I don't have any clients with multiple locations, will I be required to do anything at all when you roll the client functionality out? Aaron, could you address that?
Yeah, so we don't have a definitive answer on that right now, Sam. We will be, as we go through building this, exploring, can we do an auto create of accounts that just have, all single locations, and we'll auto create the client name and assign the location to it, whether they'll mirror with the same name, and we'll do that auto functionality. So that's one option that we're looking at. We need to A, know if that's possible first as we start to build this out, and then B, we just have to think through the process of, verifying with you as the account owner first that, you don't have any single locations or any multiple locations involved, or just looking at if you're using labels at all. Some people right now are already using labels to bind those locations together so they can, report on them in one view and administer to them in one view, and others aren't. So it is something we're looking at. We'll definitely have communication as we get closer to it, Sam, with it. We'd like to make it as easy as possible with people. So you will hear more on that, but we don't have a definitive yet.
Nikki asked the question whether with the Zapier integration to Google Sheets, we can send the job ID field. Didn't we recently upgrade Zapier to send the job ID field out? I can't remember. We'll get back to you on that with a solid answer, Nikki. I'm not sure of the answer.
I remember seeing that, but I don't know if we did it or not. So
we'll get back to you on the answer there. So those are the sort of what we have, what we're doing, and where we're going in the near term. I think the brand report, let's see, the menus should be available in beta next week, and or left side menus. The brand report, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's third week of April on the brand report. Is that right?
I think a little bit deeper than that, probably closer to May or first week of May, just
First week of
looking
May,
where
okay.
next sprint is, yeah.
And then the client level reporting hopefully will be before June. All things go well. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris. I mean, he's been working with a lot of agencies and putting together some interesting materials and thoughts on different ways to sell. So Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. So one of the questions I got time and time again from new resellers of Get 5 Stars was about how to manage this. What's the best way to go about this? What are the jobs that are going to be expected of them at the agency, and what's going to be expected of the client as well? And generally, I put together this document. So some of you in the room I know already have this. If you don't and you would like this document, again, just email me, Chris at Get 5 Stars. I'd be happy to get it to you. But there's 3 ways to typically manage your Get 5 Stars clients. And as you can see here, we have it as do it for me, do it with me, and do it yourself. Going a bit deeper into this, the do it for me solution is something that we recommend. You know, if it is possible at any time to put them on a do it for me solution, you as an agency are going to have more success. Your client is going to have more success. And because you're doing more work on there and you are spending more time, you can typically charge a little bit more for this service as well. This gives you complete control over your clients' feedback being sent out, your clients' responses to feedback, and just ensuring that they themselves can rest assured that you are taking care of this for them. Now, I will say in the do it for me solution, you must always make sure your client is aware of negative feedback. Although responding to negative feedback is something you guys can discuss between yourself. If they're okay with you doing that, that's fine. But I always strongly recommend that you have a system set up where your client is aware. So you can do that through notifications, making sure notifications of negative feedback are sent to the client, or you can make sure that you're getting those notifications and then you yourself reach out to that client and let them know. The combination of those 2 will work as well. With the do it with me approach, it just as the name says there, you're both splitting between the tasks. So if you're maybe a 1 or 2 person show, you don't have a ton of labor time, or you have tech savvy clients that aren't scared away by software and are okay managing the account, then this approach allows you to take a little bit off of your plate and put a little bit onto your client's plate as well. It's good to mention that if you are doing the do it with me approach, your clients are going to need to access the tool. So in this approach, you're likely going to want to make sure your client is either aware that you are using Get 5 Stars, or you've taken advantage of our white labeling, and therefore your account is white labeled as your own. The do-it-yourself approach is 100% that, in that they are going to do it themselves. But we never recommend you as an agency look at this as your ability to just cut yourself off from the client. Because you know, when clients need help or they need assistance or they want recommendations, they should be able to come to you and you should be able to give them those answers. So we do encourage our agencies, if you are taking the do it yourself approach and allowing your clients to manage it themselves, that they can at least ensure that they can rely on you for assistance along the way. We also recommend as well, in any of these situations, schedule a call with your client. If that's monthly or quarterly, that's between you and your client, to make sure that they're updated on the account. They know what's going on, and just make sure that any questions are answered. Now, the next one, Mike, if you want to jump to the next slide here, we have been lucky enough over the years to work with a number of great agencies of varying sizes that have used our product. And these 3 wonderful agencies were nice enough to participate in our case studies. To note, if any agency does want to take part in a case study for the future, we'd love to hear from you and get your insight on how you're using Get 5 Stars. But these 3 in particular We chose because they're just a bit different. You know, we have our bike shop SEO. As their name states, they do SEO for bike shops. They are a niche agency. And, you know, they've been with us now for just over a year, since January 2017. One of the things they mentioned there in their case study as well is that they took advantage of the Zapier integration and are finding good success with that. And that all their clients need to do is update that Google Sheet, and then that email is being sent out right away. So that's been a great insight from them, is that they've been able to use that and be successful there. YDOP has been with us since 2014 and just over 40 locations with us. One of the neat things about YDOP and what they do is they take an approach where they can do it yourself or do it with me. So they've decided they have some customers that they'll let do themselves and some that they'll do it with them. You know, and one of the things that they really like about the tool as well, that they state in there, that's a great value statement when you're talking to clients and talking to them about your reputation management platform, is that Get 5 Stars allows them to capture both the first party testimonial on the client's website and then push that individual to the third party testimonial. So from one customer, you can get that client, that first party testimonial for your website, and then that third party review on Google or Facebook as well. So definitely in that, they talk about their approach and how they go about selling that as well. Lift Local has been with us since June 2016. They're up over 500 locations. And you know, Lift Local has really done a great job at looking at Get 5 Stars and the ideology behind that, and then harnessing that for their clients to ensure their clients are getting the most out of the product. You know, Lift Local is one of those agencies. They didn't need to white label Get 5 Stars. They manage it 100% for their clients, top to bottom. They do everything. One of the things they discuss in there is the amount of time they need to spend. As many of you know, Get 5 Stars, the large majority of it is automated. So you can automate a lot of these processes with notifications and reports being emailed out automatically. And they talk about the time they spend on that. Usually they estimate about 10 minutes per client of management each month, and that's broken up from a few minutes here to a few minutes there. And then about 10 minutes per month per client just to update them on the account, let them know how the last month goes. Because these reports can be automatically emailed to you or the client, you can decide what works best for you. But one approach that's worked quite well is getting those reports sent to you. Take a few minutes, read those reports, write a brief email to your client, letting them know the highlights of this, and attach that report to that email. A lot of times you'll find your client won't even need to open that report because you've laid it out for them in that email, and now they're up to date. They know exactly what's going on. And that'll also in turn cut down a lot of your service time if they're calling, if they're not up to date or aware of the current status of their account. So as well, we do have these case studies available. So if you'd like to look into them, of course, just reach out to me, Chris at get5stars.com.
So with that, that's sort of the end of our formal presentation. I just wanted to let everybody know that Aaron, myself, and Chris will be at Local U Advanced in Austin, April 12th. If you're looking for a great networking and local focused training event, we have a coupon for $50 off the ticket. That's April 12th in Austin. We'd love to see you there if any of you are coming. So with that, glad to entertain any additional questions. I know most of you have felt free to ask right along, which we love, but if you have any more, let them rip. And
yeah, I think we had a couple from before, Mike.
okay.
One was, Evan asked, do you recommend adding the review widget code to the sidebar or the main section of a page for best ranking practices?
I think that it's best to not have it on every page. I think that you're better off having it on 5 or 6 critical pages. So it depends a little bit on your site design. If you can modify the sidebar on a per page basis, then create one with the review widget and one without. That's pretty easy to do. But otherwise, if you can't control that in your thing. I think you're better off embedding it in the page content so that you don't sort of put it on too many pages. I think my sense is that, you know, I don't know this for a fact. I just have it, my spidey senses go off when I see sites with 200 or 100 or 50 pages where every page has stars on it. So, and definitely not putting it on the home page. Were there any others?
Yeah, I think there was one other for Chris. Steve had asked, he said when the two of you were talking the other day that there was an issue, I think this is with Mailchimp and Zapier, where not being able to separate positive and negative, and he was asking if that was rectified now.
So you're able to pull them out based on the star rating. What we were discussing there, Steve, is what we're looking to get done with Zapier and Mailchimp is the ability to select them as detractors. And detractors will take everybody from 0 to 6 and load them into Mailchimp. What you're able to do at this point is select people based on their star rating and have that star rating come out, but you would have to select 0, 1 through 6 individually.
Cool. One thing that I wanted to point out from the navigation, that the kind of the interface change and going to the left side in the navigation, for our white label clients, you know, what we were showing you is in our Get 5 Stars color scheme. For our white label clients, just as we do now, there'll be a default that's using just some generic grayscales for like the menu and the CTA buttons and things like that. We are also introducing a couple of small settings that will let you adjust colors of the left side menu and like the call to action buttons that are within the dashboard as well. So there's a kind of a basic white label color scheme that's already there, but then you'll be able to adjust it more into your brand colors. You'll still have the same ability to add and upload your logo. So all of those things will be present. You'll have a little bit more control over the look and feel as far as the color scheme within the dashboard as well. Over time, we might add a couple other features to it, but definitely opening up more abilities for you guys to custom it closer to the look and feel of your brand for your customers that are using it.
So if there aren't any other questions, I just want to end by once again just noting that Aaron is our new CEO, and congratulations to him, and congratulations to all of you. We hope that you're doing well with the product, and if you have stories you'd like to share, we'd love to hear them, good, bad, or neutral. So feel free to send them along as to how you're dealing with how you're selling at 5 stars. Anything else?
All right, now everybody can go back to watching the Masters on their second screen. I know Chris Ratchford is.
All right, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Yep, thanks.